Lane Kiffin. I know there's a lot of decisions that go into, or a lot of factors, I guess, that go into whether you take a coaching job or whether you don't. I mean, there's family, money, status, but like, if he stayed at Ole Miss, they would have built him a statue. You know what I mean? They would have given him the keys to the city. He would have been that guy.
Yeah.
And like,
He'd been the
I
king.
don't know, the choice to go to
I don't know
LSU,
about that. Yeah, until you win something, they're not gonna do all that.
I mean, it doesn't matter. He elevated Ole Miss from a mid to lower tier SEC school to the college football playoffs for the first time in school history. I think for the first 10-season win.
The world was his, no doubt. The world was his, but he wasn't gonna get a statue until he actually did something.
I just think I don't understand the thought process of going to LSU. I know it's a bigger school and they have more donors, more NIL money, more spotlight, but I feel like why don't you want to be that guy to bring your school to that level? You know what I mean? LSU wasn't always like that.
To fully
It's not,
ride
you
that
can't-
roller coaster
You
and
can't turn a hoe to a housewife.
end instead of just jumping off. Let's go to the next thing though. Speaking of playoffs, you mentioned Ole Miss in the playoffs. Do we need to make another change in the college football playoff? For one, I've heard there's potential expansion of 14 or 16 team. Should we do that? And then for two, I think the bigger question though, whether that happens or not, is conferences. Should conferences be a part of playoffs, or should it just be top 12 or however many teams, 16, 14 teams, make the playoffs because they are the best teams according to the CFP?
Hold on a different note, on the Lane Kiffin note, going into the playoffs thing too, I think it's absolute, so you were mentioning, why did Lane Kiffin leave? I mean, I understand why, I'm not saying it's right. To me, the whole bullshit part of it is, dude, why are you leaving? Why is it even allowed that he can
For him to leave before the playoffs.
before the season? Why is that the
Insane.
sign?
It's insane.
for LSU?
It needs to be
And
changed.
It needs to be
Well,
changed
yeah,
because
actually JMU now has Billy Napier as their head coach going into the playoffs. The Florida head coach. He's now their head coach. for the
JMU
playoffs.
coach left
It's
too. There's been a bunch of coaches
I don't
since.
understand how that's allowed.
I agree. I feel like within the last week of the season or 2 weeks left in the season,
I think it should be changed.
It's because
I think there must have been at least 20 relevant colleges that have had coaches leave or come before any of that is even settled. That can't happen. You can't allow that. You have to change that.
I
Yeah.
think the reason he made the decision to go to LSU before the playoffs is because the winter transfer portal closes and he wouldn't have the opportunity to start his recruitment for next year
No,
before
I understand that.
behind.
College
And I
football
think
committee has to
I
change.
don't know. Lane
It
Kiffin
will
is
have to be changed.
a hoe. He really hasn't won anything substantial in his career, but
I don't blame the coaches at all. It
The
is
committee
part
is,
of the rules.
yes.
I just want to say this. Marvin mentioned them talking about expanding the playoffs. I am very hard line against expanding the playoffs. Already in the first round, we see 40-point blowouts. Expanding the playoff is only going to exacerbate that problem. I think 12 is a perfect number of teams. I think the argument could be made to remove the rule that a group of 5 school has to get in. Maybe, sure. I wouldn't be super opposed to that. I understand why they are in, but I think expanding it to 16 teams, I don't understand it at all, to be honest. I mean, I think there's going to be, in the first round, we're going to see massive blow. I mean, Oregon is going to spank JMU, out of CF, they're going to want to go back to, what is it, CFS, or whatever the hell it's called, with Notre Dame.
I don't think that's related to
State.
that's not really related to expanding it though specifically. That's more related to picking conference champs.
But honestly, even if they expand, they keep expanding, and it's going to turn into the point where it becomes a March Madness type of thing. There's 6
Exactly.
teams in playoffs, and there's no reason because the thing is, basketball is completely different from football. If that team is dominant in football, they will whoop the other team that is trash at football. In basketball, there's a little more luck you can have. But if there's
Yeah.
like a Derrick Henry or something, and then you're going up against Eli Apple with their best player, I mean, what the hell do you think is going to happen? It doesn't work that way. JMU and Tulane, I think, will get absolutely fucked in the fall.
I think what they
First
need to do for that specifically is go to four champs, right? That's the goal for 4 conference champs. make it 4 instead of 5, because if it's 4, like five, I get, because you kind of can have that one conference champ, right, prove himself. Like if one conference falls off, somebody can slip in potentially. Like this year, ACC fell off, and UNT or Tulane or JMU
American.
would have still been able to make it in on an off year, and that makes kind of for a potential like March Madness run. So I like that every once in a while. But 5, that means like every year you're gonna have at least one school in there that doesn't belong in there. And as we're talking about with coaches, as we're talking about with players in the transfer portal, the problem is before the college football was way too closed off, right? The committee wanted to keep everything the same, and now they open it up, and like literally it's the Wild West. Players are
Yeah.
transferring when they want, coaches are
Yep.
leaving when they want,
Too open.
and it's just pure madness. And one of the problems now, like obviously, so what's like the logical reasoning here? So you make it automatically into the playoffs by being a conference champ. So what's the smart move? Everyone just moves to like the SEC and the Big Ten. Well, teams are also going to start moving to whatever the
Sun Belt,
the
the
Sun Belt
American.
Conference and things like that, so they can win the conference and make it to the playoffs. Like Notre Dame's they're looking for a conference. Like that's like just the easy move. So why on earth do we need to have 5 conference champions? Because it doesn't really mean that much. I understand like creating a little bit of rivalry. NFL, it's good for the sport having those division rivals, but I think 4 is plenty.
I agree.
On this topic of Notre Dame, they need to join a conference. They need to stop with this
Yes.
weird, like,
Being
high
a
horse
bunch of
bullshit.
pussies.
They're too good for a conference. Join a conference and stop crying about missing the playoffs. Join the ACC for all we care. Join a conference, okay?
Did
I mean,
you see though that they like changed the rule for them that they're gonna make it if they're in the top,
If
what was
they're
it,
ranked top 12, they automatically make playoffs. They don't have to do anything else.
dude? Someone
It's
paid them.
ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
Someone paid
I
a lot of
hate
money
that.
for the table. I'm
They
telling
also
you
get
right now.
like a bigger bonus for making the playoffs as an independent than other schools
Which,
do.
like, dude, they're so greedy, and they're Notre Dame's already like a rich, like those are like the rich boys up there. But what I really like, and I hope like teams go through with this, like they say if the committee doesn't change that rule, because obviously a bogus rule. So obviously the committee is getting paid under the table by Notre Dame. That's like 100% what that is. Teams are just not going to schedule any games with Notre Dame. They're going to put them on freeze, which is completely the right move because like why are they getting special treatment?
Yeah, the committee.
and I
the
would
committee
100%
needs
support
to.
that, honestly.
Committee needs to change. They need to figure out like. They need to be unbiased because even for playoffs, I know I'm saying this because UNT wasn't in the picture the whole time when they were ranked above Tulane. Well, it turns out there was like 1 or 2 people on the playoff committee that were like Tulane alumni or whatever. So that's probably why they put Tulane above
What?
UNT, just because they had that connection with Tulane and not UNT. Like that's not fair. Make it the teams that you actually think are better or that are. I mean, even
There's-
ranked. We were ranked better. Like in the
Also,
overall
I don't know if
rankings,
you guys
the
knew this.
conference rankings-
But like athletic directors that are affiliated with schools are on the committee. Like I'm pretty sure the Michigan athletic director is on the committee.
Well, exactly. I don't know if Tulane had the director, but that's what I'm saying. Like, you can't have that. Like, that's literally.
I don't think that should be
the
allowed,
recipe
like
for
at all.
disaster. Like, how is that allowed? I don't understand that because even the conference championship game, UNT should have been home. They were ranked better in the conference, but because of the playoff rankings, Tulane was home.
And it's
Yeah, that
also
should never be
ridiculous.
allowed.
It's only 13 people. That's like such like what is this? Like Jesus and his 12
Yeah.
disciples. Like that's such a low amount of people to where like just a handful of votes dramatically affect the outcome of something that's so huge.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Like that's insane. Like it should be like honestly like 100 people or like get a lot more creative. If we're gonna start having athletic directors in there, at that
By the
point,
way, 7
make
of
the
them
vote
are
for all
athletic directors. 7 of them are athletic directors.
That's more than half of them.
That's more than half.
So University of Arkansas, University of Nebraska, University of Utah, Middle Tennessee State University, Baylor, Miami of Ohio, and
Middle
Virginia
Tennessee State.
all have their
That's
athletic directors
insane,
on
though.
the committee.
You can't.
Absolutely
do that.
insane.
That
Like,
makes
it's-
no freaking sense, dude.
I mean, to be fair, none of those teams are in the playoffs, to be fair. But still, it's ridiculous.
There's no reason. There's no reason for that.
It makes zero sense at that point. Just do something a lot more simple and just give all of the athletic directors a vote or
A
something
vote,
like that at that
yeah.
point. Just send one to each of the athletic directors and you can't vote for yourself or something like that. At least you have that going on, but probably best to keep them all out.
I agree.
To be honest with
Yes.
I think something interesting though that Marcus Freeman said is he is like totally willing to join whatever conference if that means they have to make the playoffs that way. And I think it's really just the athletic directors that think they're not either good enough or they just want the easiest route possible.
you. I think it's donors
So
too.
they don't allow really that to
It's
happen.
all
But
money. I think it all comes down to a money
All
thing
greed.
because they get more money.
But
Yeah.
Marcus Freeman is all for joining the conference, so it's not the whole like entire organization. But
So respect to coach. Speaking of Notre Dame making the playoffs, do you guys think Bama deserves to be in it?
no,
Probably not, to be
Ah.
honest. I mean,
Okay, so who would we put in over them?
Notre
Exactly.
Dame.
Why?
No, okay. I can't see Notre Dame. They just don't have enough good wins.
Notre Dame's 2 losses
Two
are
losses.
Okay, but
against
2
top
losses
10
should
teams.
never be getting you into the playoffs, especially when you're not in a conference.
Oh,
But that's
two
exactly
good-
why Alabama's getting in.
No, they won.
But
They
Alabama-
beat Georgia.
Alabama
They
has
beat
good wins though.
Georgia.
Alabama has
Yeah,
better
and then they
wins
lost
than Notre
by
Dame does.
20 in the playoffs
The playoffs.
or in the
In the
SEC.
Alabama,
SEC
Valentin,
championship.
as far as
And
wins,
they've-
because by the way, these are 2 big wins, not 2 big losses to good teams. They beat Georgia and they beat Vanderbilt. They also beat Missouri, FYI, and Tennessee, who they spanked, and then they lost the SEC championship game. They lost to Georgia, who they already beat, and is a highly ranked team. And so, you want to put Notre Dame barely losing to 2 top 10
See,
teams?
the only team I could see a valid argument for is BYU, because on paper BYU has a better resume than Notre Dame. On paper, they have ranked wins over Utah, and their only losses are to 4th-ranked Texas Tech, once in regular
Yeah,
season, once
fucking smoked
once
them.
in the
But they got
Big 12
smoked both
championship.
They got fucking
They
smoked
literally
both
did.
And
times.
understandably. However, but like BYU was punished for playing their championship game, but Alabama was not. That's the only argument I could see for it. But in no world should Notre Dame make the playoffs over Bama.
In
Alabama
every
had a stronger
SEC
conference
game
than
that
that
Notre Dame played this year, they scored more than 40 points.
That's
and
great.
who do they play? Arkansas?
Arkansas,
A&M.
A&M, who has
Okay.
a top defense.
Also, you don't based off UNT had the most points in all football. That doesn't make you in the playoffs. At the end of the day,
But
you
I
got to
just
win
said
big
the
games.
SEC and they're scoring 40+ points. No other team in the NFL or
But,
in, not
Valdi,
NFL,
that's the
college
most
football is
that's the most
doing that against the
ESPN
SEC
stat
teams.
ever. Like you don't make the playoffs because you score the most points against the SEC. That's such that's a nitpicky. Like, go win some games, go put it on your resume, and get in. It's not about who's scoring
Exactly.
the most points in the
Exactly.
SEC. Like, sure, like if you have all those wins,
It's gonna
then,
help
like,
them
sure.
for sure.
Like, sure, that means you're a good team. No one's questioning.
Notre Dame
they're a
right
good
now
team.
has 0 top 15 wins. 0 top 15 wins. Alabama has how many?
Yeah,
3?
I mean, it's. And I agree with
Vanderbilt,
your
Tennessee.
BYU take too. As far as on paper, again, I mean, on paper, I think Notre Dame would probably blow out BYU, probably by at least 3 touchdowns, right? If they played, I mean, probably more, honestly. But as far as on paper goes, and I know it's a what's the word? Subjective, objective. I know the ranking is a little bit of a eye test, a little bit of resume. But Notre Dame didn't get the resume done, and it ultimately also comes down to being own fault. If they're in a conference, they probably would have a better resume. Because they'd probably be in a championship game.
Yeah.
And that's on
let's
them.
let's break